We are a nation under God, and I believe God intended for us to be free.
The Judeo-Christian values are the bedrock of Western civilization. They are the bedrock and foundation of the United States of America. Our founding fathers knew exactly what they were doing when they founded this nation and gave us the law that we have today.
Not only were the original settlers here in America strong professing Christians, many of Puritan persuasion, others of Church of England and other persuasions, but definitely within the Christian faith, but that Christian faith proceeds and continues well into the 1800s.
On July 4th, 1776, 56 men, representing 3 million Americans, voted to declare America a new nation, separate from Great Britain. What were the ideas that helped bring about this revolutionary development?
There have been studies that have been done that look at the influences that the founders drew on in their political writings. And these studies show that the Bible is by far the source they turn to most frequently.
Outside of the Bible, one of the sources the Founding Fathers quoted the most was Sir William Blackstone, a man who had a great deal of influence on America. He was cited during the founding era more times than anyone else except the Scriptures and Montesquieu.
Sir William Blackstone was a teacher of law in London. He was the first one to put together a systematic presentation of the common law. It was a 4-volume set that was published from 1765 to 1769. And more copies of Blackstone, according to Sir Edmund Burke, were sold in America than in England.
Phrases like the laws of nature and of nature's God in the Declaration of Independence come directly from Blackstone, who has been cited by the U.S. Supreme Court in a plethora of decisions through the decades.
We have to recognize today the incredible influence that William Blackstone had on the revolution in America through his commentaries that were published beginning in 1765. These founders of America were reading Blackstone's biblical worldview that said that all law came from God, and if any law was contrary to God's law, it was not law at all. This is what our founding fathers were reading, and Blackstone had such a profound impact in America that he is justified in being called the source of the philosophy of America in the Declaration of Independence.
The American War for Independence has been called the American Revolution, but some scholars question if it really was a revolution per se in terms of the rule of law.
Independence Day is the celebration of not just American independence, but of a doctrine of what I call interposition. It is not a revolution technically, it is not a revolt or rebellion, it is interposition of duly elected state officials throughout the state of the American colonies against a tyrant who no longer had a legitimate basis to rule.
In other words, the Founding Fathers were trying to get the King of England and the leaders in Parliament to follow the rule of law, which they were violating.
Sam Adams, who many call the father of the American Revolution, Sam Adams declared after the signing of the Declaration, "We have restored the rightful sovereign to his throne in America. May his kingdom come."
Our founding fathers were so committed to these freedoms that many of them gave everything, and most of them died broke trying to give us the freedoms that we have today. The least we can do is preserve it for the next generation. You know, you never really own freedom. You only preserve it for the next generation.
If we ever forget that we're one nation under God, then we will be a nation going under.